What is up, LudyBros Army? It's your boy, Big Bro Lamar Ludy, sitting down today during a great first day for the playoffs this season. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets quarter by quarter. We're going to break things down quarter by quarter, things that I'm seeing, and we're going to jump into this series. Obviously, this is my team, the Boston Celtics, and they've got an uphill battle against the number 2 seeded Brooklyn Nets. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, but let's jump into this quarter by quarter analysis. At the end of the first quarter, we've got the Boston Celtics up 24-16. You could not have asked for a better start for the Boston Celtics. They're underhanded. They don't have Jaylen Brown. He's out for the rest of the season. So they're coming into this as the serious underdog, facing off with the Brooklyn Nets. The main takeaway that I want to put out there from this first quarter is Robert Williams. He hardly has anything here in the stat line, but if you're watching the game, when he comes in, he changed everything for the Boston Celtics. He's challenging everything that the Nets are doing on the inside. He's already got a couple of blocks, and he's able to get touches that you're not really expecting him to get. He's tipping the ball. He tipped the ball out to Aaron Nesmith, who hit this three. That's his lone three-pointer. And this is the type of thing that's going to be critical for the Celtics in this series, is getting contributions from the entire roster to go up against the Brooklyn Nets. Jason Tatum's got 7 points. He's leading the way, and he's going to have to be stepping up big time as he's matched up with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's got 8 points already and 5 rebounds. He's been injured a couple of times. He's coming off of the Achilles. He had a hamstring injury that limited some games. This is only the 8th game that the big three of Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden have played together. And the main thing for the Nets is going to be their offensive firepower. We're seeing here that the defense of the Celtics is somewhat hampering the Nets. Let's check out the field goal percentage. The Nets are shooting 26%. There is no possible way that this is going to stick around. There's no possible way that they're going to shoot this low for the entire series. Expect right here in the second quarter for the Nets to put together some sort of big run. Look at this right here. It's 0 for 9 from 3. This actually has me nervous as a Celtics fan. Seeing these type of numbers has me nervous because I'm expecting them to come out in this second quarter. I'm not even thinking about the second half. The second quarter, I expect the Nets to go on a huge run and tighten this game up, possibly try and take the lead. One thing that I do also want to point out here is the free throws for the Celtics. I want to see you guys get to the line. You have to get some free throws. You have to be aggressive and attacking the basket. You're shooting 5 for 11 from 3. That's good, but you've got to be able to put that ball on the floor and get to the free throw line to get some free points against a team that just has so much offensive firepower. Kyrie Irving has 4 points, and James Harden's got 2 with 3 assists. He's doing the ball handling. Blake Griffin got the start here. I'm a little bit surprised that they went ahead and started Blake Griffin. I guess they're going to go with the overall best talented player, but I was thinking that the Nets would still continue bringing him off the bench the way that they had been doing during the regular season. So that's something interesting that I'm going to keep an eye on there. But for right now, the Celtics are up. Oh, it looks like they wiped off the three-pointer that Marcus Smart hit there. It was saying 24-16 a minute ago, but now it's saying 21-16. So it looks like that three-pointer that Marcus Smart hit right at the end of the first quarter did not count. It looks like he probably got it off late. But let's go ahead. Kemba Walker, you're going to have to step up big, man. You're going to have to step up big, and so is Evan Fournier. You were brought over at the trade deadline. We're going to need some points for you. No Jaylen Brown means everybody on the Celtics has to contribute. Otherwise, that big three from the Brooklyn Nets is going to do what everyone is saying they're going to do, which is go ahead and put the Boston Celtics out of their misery. It's been a tough season for the Celtics, and we're going to see how things play out after this first quarter. All right, we'll see you guys at the end of the second. All right, LudyBros Army, we're back at the half. I went ahead and switched it up, went over to Yahoo Sports to get their box scores, wanted to take a closer look at some of the other stats that we're seeing. Robert Williams has 4 blocks. I pointed him out in the first quarter. This is the type of defensive intensity that everybody on the Celtics is going to have to bring if they're going to have any chance of being able to pull out the upset over the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, this guy is such a silky smooth scorer. He's got 16 points and 7 rebounds. The way he scores is so effortless. I'm watching him at the free throw line. He's shooting the ball anywhere from mid-range. I mean, he's just got green all over the whole floor where he's just able to pull up from anywhere, and you feel like it's going to go in when he's pulling up to shoot. The Celtics are doing a good job of putting a hand up on him and on Kyrie Irving and James Harden. James Harden got it going at the beginning of the first quarter. There was 3 straight plays where he got fouled and went to the free throw line to shoot some free throws. And that's what I was talking about for the Brooklyn Nets. They're able to put their heads down when they're not hitting their jump shots or their three-pointers. They're able to put their head down and get to the line, and that's going to be the difference in this series. When you look here, you'll see that the Nets are shooting 12 for 13 from the free throw line at 92%. Now, the Celtics, they had no free throw attempts in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they made it to the line 10 times, shooting 10 free throws and making 8 of those. And from the 3, they're shooting excellent, lights out, 52%, 9 for 17. This is going to be critical. If they can keep this type of performance up on the offensive end with this limited firepower that they've got, they could give themselves a chance to pull out an interesting upset. But let's go ahead. The Nets, 22 points in the paint. They're being aggressive. They're attacking the rim. They're also winning the rebounding battle, which I think is going to be, somewhat surprising to me that the Nets are winning the rebounding battle. But they do have a little bit more length with the way that they're rolling out their lineup. So when you look here, James Harden, he's got 6 assists and 4 rebounds. They're just doing this gang rebounding for Brooklyn. You got Jeff Green came off the bench. He's got 3 rebounds. And Bruce Brown also came off the bench, chipping in another 3 boards. High energy guys. It looks like Steve Nash is electing to play high energy guys here coming off of the bench. He's tightened up his rotation a little bit, so that's going to be an interesting thing going forward. I don't know if we're going to get any deeper than this. And the same thing for the Boston Celtics and Brad Stevens. They tightened up their rotation a little bit more. Aaron Nesmith getting those minutes as the first guard off the bench instead of Peyton Pritchard. So, and he came in with some aggression on the defensive end, which is very, very good. The Celtics don't have space. They don't have room for mistakes on the defensive end going up against this firepowered Brooklyn Nets team. And that's going to be, going forward, this only 1/2 down out of a 7-game series. But you don't have room for error. You've got to be locked in defensively. This isn't a situation like the play-in game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors, where the Grizzlies were able to just face guard Stephen Curry, and they're able to pull out a win that way. This is a situation where you have 3 guys who are capable of lighting you up any given night, any given moment. So with a 5-point lead for the Boston Celtics coming into the end of this first half, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough to maintain this. I expect the Brooklyn Nets, they did have a huge second quarter like I predicted. They scored 31 points, but the Boston Celtics were able to match them and actually outscore them by scoring 32. You're going to have to be locked in defensively. If they start to score, you can't panic. You can't freak out. You've got to stay locked in defensively and try to keep things close. And if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to go ahead and trust in the fact that you've got Durant, Harden, and Irving, and you are going to be just fine and get things rolling in the second half. But let's keep our eyes close to this game. This is the one that I'm looking at today. But it's been a great day of basketball. If you have a series that you want me to sit down and really pay close attention to and break down for you guys, let me know that down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys at the end of the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, the Brooklyn Nets have taken over. They outscored the Boston Celtics by 11 points in that third, and it was exactly as I predicted. And the big guy who's doing all the work, he's been doing it all game long. Check this out. Kevin Durant has 29 points and 10 rebounds. He's double dipping tonight. It's so smooth and so effortless. And look at the other members of the big 3. Kyrie chipped in 16 points. James Harden's got 16, 7, and 7. So you have a guy who's flirting with the triple-double. You have another guy who's got you the double-double. And the next thing you know is that you've got the lead. So the Nets have an offensive set of weapons that nobody else in the NBA has. And in order for you to beat this team in a 7-game series, you're going to have to be 100% healthy, and you're going to have to stick to a game plan of making things difficult and not making any mistakes. And we saw quite a few mistakes from the Boston Celtics. Kemba Walker was turning the ball over. He only has 7 points and 2 assists. It's not going to get it done. Now, he is in some foul trouble, But that's not going to get it done the way that the Celtics are constructed right now. They've got to have Kemba Walker up in double-digit scoring, and he's got to be also facilitating on the offensive end. Jason Tatum's got 19 points, and Marcus Smart has helped the Celtics to stick around. Now, the lead was much bigger. If you're a Celtics fan like me, you're happy to see that you're only down by 5. You're fighting as hard as you can. You have to keep this close in order for you to give yourself an opportunity to steal this first game. When we look at the field goal percentage for the Brooklyn Nets, you can see here from 3, they're shooting only 24% on 6 of 25 shooting. That's never going to happen again in this series. The Celtics have got to try and capitalize and pull this one out. And it's going to be, like I said at the very beginning of this video, it's going to be an uphill battle going up against these Brooklyn Nets to try and pull out this win. But looking at the overall numbers, another stat, the Nets had a sizable advantage at the half, but now that's closed back up. Offensive boards favoring the Celtics, they've got 10 of those. The total rebounding battle, though, going to the Nets. Both teams moving the ball, 15 assists. Nets coming in on the defensive end with 7 blocks and 3 steals to 6 blocks and 5 steals for the Celtics. Turnovers are very close, 8 and 9. This is actually surprisingly for some people, but not for me. I think that this is a close game, and it's going to come down to the wire. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are going to blow out the Celtics. I think the Celtics are going to be able to tighten up this ship and hopefully get this a little bit closer. As far as I'm concerned, as a Celtics fan, I want them to get this closer. But it's going to be an uphill battle. Like I said, the big weapon for the Nets is doing his thing, and that is Kevin Durant. He's got 29 points, so smooth. Dude is so smooth, and he's going to be the guy that you're going to have to focus on. Otherwise, you let him get his, and then you turn your attention to other people, but that's not going to work. I mean, I just don't think that's going to work. That's not going to be the strategy to try and win this game. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as we get set here for the fourth quarter. And that's going to wrap it up, folks. The Brooklyn Nets pulled away in that fourth quarter to put away the Boston Celtics in this first game of the series, 104-93. They outscored the Celtics 26-20 in the fourth, but most of that damage was done in the third quarter. The second half was very, very difficult for the Boston Celtics to get through. And when you look at the box score, Kemba Walker's got 15 points here. He hit a couple of threes, but you know what? The pressure is going to be on him to step up. The Celtics need him to be up in the 20s, and Jason Tatum, you're going to have to get more than just 22 points. You're going to have to match up. When you have a big 3 of Kevin Durant scoring 32, Kyrie Irving's got 29, you're going to have to get your scoring up in that same range as at least one or two of the members of the Brooklyn Nets big 3. You're going to have to match them in scoring in order for the Celtics to have a chance in this series. Otherwise, if you look at the box score for the Nets, you'll see Joe Harris contributed 10 points, but not much else from anybody else on this team. All the scoring is coming from the big 3. So we know where the points are coming from the Nets. It's going to be either Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or James Harden. They're going to come in. They're going to do their damage. The most likely weapon is going to be Kevin Durant. He's got the smoothest stroke in the NBA, I feel. And his ability to score, is just unmatched in the NBA right now. So Kevin Durant's going to come in, and he's going to continue probably to put this assault onto the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams comes off the bench. He gets you 11, 9 blocks, 9 rebounds. This is great. Tristan Thompson only has 4 points, but he had 10 rebounds here. And what I want to take a look at is the offensive rebounds. If you look here, Tristan Thompson's got 5 and Robert Williams has got 5 on the offensive glass. I think that's a positive that the Boston Celtics can look at, is hitting the offensive glass to try and give themselves easy buckets. That's something that they're going to have to do going forward against the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, even though they did win the rebounding battle in this game, they just aren't a strong rebounding team. But you'll see here, James Harden, he's got 9 total rebounds and 8 assists, so he almost got that triple-double we were looking at. And when we look at the field goal percentage, we've got the Nets. They brought their field goal percentage up, 41%. Their three-pointers started to fall a little bit, 23%. And they lived at the free throw line tonight, 26 for 29. The Celtics, they did pick up their free throws, which is something that's also important, putting your head down and getting to the cup to try and put yourself at the line to get some free points. But the rebounding battle, like I said, it was won by the Nets. They got 50 rebounds. The Celtics have got to try and get some offensive boards and put second chance opportunities in order to give themselves another way to score. Very close assists, 19 to 18. The blocks favored the Celtics off of Robert Williams. Steals favoring the Nets. Points in the paint closed up, 34 to 34. So that's good to see for both teams getting inside and doing some damage. But this first game goes to Brooklyn, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an uphill battle for the Boston Celtics. They don't have Jaylen Brown. I do believe if they had Jaylen Brown, that could really help this team a lot to have that extra defender who's going to come in and also potentially give you 18 to 20 points per game. That's what they're going to be missing. And like I said in this video, I think you need to be at 100% health in order to pull out a win over the Brooklyn Nets in a 7-game series. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the analysis for this game. I will see you guys next time.